YouTube right fast. Let's see here. Now we're going to check that tube of view. We're going to check that tube. You know what I mean? See what's going on with the YouTube. So, yeah. And for those of you that are wondering, the channel is the PT Pod, basically. PT Pod Show on YouTube at PT Pod Show. So let's see here. Are we live on YouTube yet? Yeah, it looks like we are live. Yeah, all right. Technology, people. And we are doing it, and doing it well. Representing Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn, y'all. All right. We're going to bring Hannah Claire back to the stage. What's she talking about?
And picking Burkham.
You know, to be honest with you, now that you mention it, like when you bring up the Senate stuff, I do think that having someone that has at least a decent knowledge of the ins and outs of how the sausage is made, you know, I think that does matter, especially because he's going to want to actually have policy. Like if he gets elected, there's going to be a lot of things that he's going to want to do. There's a lot of things that he's talked about doing. And if he's going to start, you know, cutting back on the establishment, cutting back on the bureaucracy and stuff, he's going to have to know how to do it, because it's not as easy as just fire that guy, fire that guy, fire that guy. As much as I wish it was, they're going to have to do, they might even have to get creative to get rid of stuff and have Congress be able to pass laws to cut off funding or whatever and see if they can just get, you know, things to dry up. But if you don't have someone that knows that and knows how to do it, you end up with what you got the first term, which is a lot of his policies and his ideas getting stymied by people that knew how the system worked better than he did.
Rumble is down.
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing that.
Yes, Rumble is
down. I'm looking in the chat.
Rumble is down.
The whole website.
We got over 80,000 on.
Yeah, we had
YouTube right
we had
now.
44, I think, on Rumble, but once it went down, when people's stream crashes, they can't reload it, and so there are still around 20 or so who are watching on Rumble. We have about 35K watching on X.
Sick.
So this is pretty based.
Sorry, Rumble.
Shout out to X. First
Yeah.
IRL stream, right?
Yeah.
To X.
Yeah. The thing about X is it's harder to track concurrence, but based on the metrics, if we compare their numbers and just do a little bit of math, we can see it's about 35K. YouTube is 81.
Sick.
A lot of people getting ready for this and watching, and really do appreciate everybody. Become a member at timcast.com.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to support.
He's pimping, and he's got to. We love the grift.
When hasn't Rumble been able to host one of these?
Ken and Hotep in the building.
Right.
Now we're watching the Hoteps, of course.
But
Rumble was not ready.
Be fair, this is like the most anticipated
We are live.
debate in
We
the
are
history
doing
of
it.
America.
I agree.
Hey, I'm about to post a backup channel just in case. I got the Kick channel, kick.com/Hotep Jesus Justice. Rumble acting stupid. I can set the Kick up.
All right, if y'all need me to, so we can go with X. You can go X too. But I got my what's your name for them?
All right.
Yo, you see the coons in the chat? They cooning.
Oh, come on.
You see them coons in the chat? Y'all up here cooning, talking about the girl on juice. She just started running faster.
Okay. That fucking Karen be out there, bitch, smoking bitches' boots. I bet y'all say she on that shit.
Like, this is where we gotta like.
Oh, she looked jacked the fuck up. Like, it ain't like she came back faster. She came back like the Terminator.
Like, who determines?
Everything's
Coon
slow.
Council
I know
is
Rumble
like
wasn't ready, but good night.
to
Everything
decide
is
what-
slow, man. Everything is running slow. The whole
No,
internet.
You guys don't know who
running
Dr.
Of
Disrespect
course,
is.
I know who he is. But
Yeah,
my
I
point
know.
is, my concern was the coup that failed in Bolivia, and they arrested the general. Like,
Well, this guy's like
that's
the
what I'm
biggest
looking at.
Twitch streamer in the world, and then he's he's sexting minors supposedly.
And I stopped
allegedly.
stuff.
I mean, that's
I know.
disgusting.
Yeah.
That being
I've
said,
never
did you
heard
see the coup attempts in Bolivia?
I'd like to talk about Alex. Just no.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's crazy.
they arrested the general. The president appointed a new military commander who immediately ordered the people to stand down. What people need to understand about military coups is that the troops involved in them usually don't know what's going on. Hey, we're going into the palace, follow me. And they're like, what's happening? What's counter-terror? And then all of a sudden it's like you're in a coup and they have no idea.
Obama's sister was in a coup too in Africa this week.
What?
Yes, she was attacked. Obama's sister was attacked.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
at
right.
the
Because
embassy.
they were protesting over the.
I think it might be
budget bill.
overstate. Sorry, they might be overstating to say that she was involved in the coup.
running it.
Right? Like they were just
That's
like
funny,
it was
yo.
large scale demonstrations against
Fine.
the legislation they didn't want. But there was tear gas and everything deployed. It was really funny because I would watch coverage of this, and they'd be like, "We're gonna go now to a clip of Obama's half sister talking," and it's like, "Do Obama's
Yo.
gonna parachute in and save them?"
I wonder if Rumble's being DDoS'd.
Possible.
Yeah. Then
Very
distributed denial of service.
Well, they're blowed up.
I was
regardless.
looking at their numbers, and it is not the biggest I've ever seen. It is possible that Rumble, being a small company, is having a harder time dealing with the overload. But Crowder had a way bigger stream before with like 500,000 concurrent viewers. It's not that it hasn't even got the debate hasn't even started yet.
Right.
It would make more sense
Wow.
that there is a concerted effort to distributed denial of service rumble.com before the debate even starts. Because let me stress, if this is overloading Rumble right now, imagine how much their viewership would have been in 10 minutes.
We
when the
are going to
debate
go back
starts.
to TBD.
But this
See what he's talking
this
about.
is blocking Crowder and Russell Brand, and there's a bunch of other channels. Steve Dan Bongino, as well as our stream got knocked down. So
That's a bummer.
yep,
Is Crowder's stream not up on Rumble?
it is. But Rumble's down.
Oh, the whole entire
Rumble is
site.
back
Oh,
running. Some
wow.
people are saying it's back up, and I can't load Rumble.
I think it has to be a bandwidth issue.
Yeah, but there's not like
Looks like
Crowder
Rumble
had
is
500,000
back
people watching
up.
one time.
All
back in
right.
2020. He had, I think, 90,000 right now. Bongino had 60. We had 44.
Broadband
Russell Brand had around
was
40 or
not in
some
the
odd.
federal budget.
It's not more than
Exactly.
we've ever seen. And the debate hasn't started yet. So maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it's grown since then. There's more channels doing it. You know? I mean,
Yeah,
hasn't
that could
been
be
done.
it. It could
See
be
here,
it.
because
It
of
could
the way
there-
things
and-
are,
and
I'm going to be
also
incorporating my phone
Yeah,
as well
maybe
because
it's
stuff just be blowing up right now.
resources.
You know what I
Maybe
mean?
it's
So yeah,
their
Woo!
network is
This is
leaner
crazy.
than it
Iron
used to
Bull
be
in the building.
because
You know what I
revenue
mean?
or something. I have no idea.
Once again,
I don't
drop
know.
some love
It
in
is-
the
it is pretty
chat.
wild though.
Drop some
I can't
hearts.
imagine being a
Drop
tech
some
company
shares.
right now and having to
Share
deal with,
this
you
on your
know,
social
your
medias
entire
if you would.
website
Be kind
crashing
to your
because
brother.
People are getting ready to watch.
Help
this
me
debate.
help
I mean,
you.
that really speaks to how impactful this is. There
So
are
let's
so
go
many
back to
people
the Hoteps.
going
I
to
like them
all
better.
kinds of different platforms. It's not like there.
I mean, they're not really
happening.
talking politics. They're talking, Bron James. But they're the homies.
Axel Foley, the FBA generation, quit ball to pop pills and rap.
I gotta check the combs.
Another reason. Jason Rule, Toronto versus the Inter Miami CF October 5th, Hotep Khan and Messi. Oh,
See here. We're going to refresh it. I want to see
AJ, you ever see Messi play?
Messi who?
The soccer player.
Lionel Messi, the
course.
soccer player.
No, live. Where'd you see him at?
Oh, not live. No.
David F. Been
Servers
listening to the
packed,
podcast since
everything's slowing
2022 on
down.
Spotify and just want to support after
Saying
all the
Rumble
content.
is
Also
DOA.
proposing to my girlfriend.
I'm also hearing Rumble is
David!
backup. I'm also hearing Rumble is backup, guys. So yeah, hearing Rumble is yeah. Exactly. Copy the link and then post it on your wall, on a friend's wall if you want to be cool. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So now we're going to tune into PBD. I think
that they're actually in. You ready? Thank you so much for being on the stage, President Biden and Mr. Trump. Thank you so much for being on the stage. Did you catch that too?
Mr. Trump, President
Mr.
Biden.
Trump. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the one way
Little
to do it.
disrespect sprinkled in.
President Biden, great to have you here. Mr. Trump, it's great to have you here. If they do that, that's actually such a dirty way of taking it that can actually backfire. It's actually, I don't know if it's a good idea.
Yeah,
if they
because
do
it shows how.
By the way, if they do it, it's a bad look on CNN.
1000%.
Now, again, you can never be surprised. You always got to be kind of like ready on what the enemy could do.
Can I flip it on you?
You can flip it all you
I
want.
think
I'm waiting for a
CNN.
flip.
I think CNN. Just how what I've learned from PBD after every single debate, you give scores for everybody, not just Trump, not just Biden. You give scores for the commentators. You give scores to the host. You give scores to the VPs or other. CNN has a unique chance tonight to turn the tide of people being like, yeah, they're just clearly leftist stooges in the Democratic Party's camp. Meaning,
I love the
if they actually do a good job, if Jake Tapper and Dana Bash are actually legit down the middle and are even to both sides, that would help credibility a little bit.
If they really wanted to do that, they would have allowed the press secretary, the spokesperson for Trump the other day, when she said Jake Tapper compared Trump to Hitler and they cut her off. That would have been a good start.
Yeah, but that's who was that? Casey Hunter, Allison Camerata,
It
whoever
doesn't
was
matter.
doing that.
You're representing
not
the
them.
brand.
But that's not on the world stage, PBD. Now we're going to disagree. Now we're going to
That's
disagree.
the brand. That's the brand. You're
Hey.
representing the brand, and you're saying that. So,
But that's different from during the presidential debate versus a random interview on a
So let me ask
Tuesday.
you a different question. Let me ask you a different question. America, what American voters want. Rob, is there one of the slides of what the topics was? I think one of the stories that we had on what the stories people wanted to talk.
See, I like this because we're going to get into what people want to talk about. Good Lord, forgive me if my internet is a little slow. Everything is just
Will
slow
that
right
will
now,
that be
guys.
asking the first 15 minutes?
Probably not, because it's going to hurt
It
Biden more.
shouldn't be.
It should not
if
be for
you're
CNN. For
okay?
sure.
When should you ask immigration question?
At the end.
Good.
In the last 30 minutes.
And nobody's watching.
If you're again, think about all these things. What will they ask in the first 15 minutes?
Abortion.
Okay.
Oh, abortion.
Roe versus Wade.
Okay, so now
Yay.
now you're telling strategy.
Now we're flowing.
What are the
Now we're
chances the
flowing.
first 15 minutes going to be Roe versus Wade? Abortion. First 15 minutes.
90%.
First 30 minutes.
90%.
If they have an agenda,
95%.
very high.
Okay,
That's what we're about
so
to
we're
see.
going to see this here collectively together. Okay, what other topic you think we got 5 minutes? What other topic you think will be brought up in the first 15, 30 minutes?
January 6th, insurrection 1,000%.
Okay, so let's go through it. J6,
100,000%.
abortion. What else?
Convicted felon.
Convicted felon.
People have moved on.
Well, what's the new Pepe the Frog, though? You remember? I mean, Pepe the Frog became like a cultural icon. I wonder
Pepe's
what.
still pretty popular.
It is still
Yeah.
pretty popular, but you'd think there'd be like a new iteration.
Apu or whatever that thing is.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we're
Apu,
back
and
over to
that's funny.
Tim Pool.
Yeah, well, they're all
talking
kinda funny. The
to
Chad meme.
Alex Stein.
The chat.
We're back
meme.
over to Tim Pool talking to Alex Stein with Shane Cashman, guest of our show, personal friend in the chat, or been on our show before. And we've got Alex Stein of this show on the Tim Pool Show. We're listening to them. We're going to check back in with the Hoteps in just a second. And then if you guys want to watch anybody else, let me know. We're going to check on Rumble, see if they're back up as well.
About the medical emergency?
About the emergency at all.
Right. So for those that are just tuning in, Paul Sperry of Real Killer Investigation said the White House press corps has been denied access to the building. They're watching the debate across the street, and they are concerned that there may be a medical emergency with one of the presidents, or the presidential candidates or the president, and that needs to be reported on, and they won't be in the building. And I'm wondering what makes them think that. I'm wondering if someone in the perhaps intelligence agencies has said, maybe you guys want to be inside for some reason. I certainly hope that's not the case. Let's just have a nice, clean debate. We can make fun of Obama. I'm sorry, Obama. I might as well be Obama. Yeah, him
What
too.
if they both gang up on Obama? They don't even talk about each other.
Yeah,
Just gang up on Obama.
Oh, man. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
until
y'all.
history begins.
minutes. Let's
And
pull
we are
this guy
here to
down.
comment and fact check in real time. And that's the most important thing. We're not gonna.
It's about commenting. It's about fact checking, blah, blah, blah. You know what it's really about, guys? It's about you. It's about what do you need as a voter? You know what I mean? It's about what are you looking at? You know, that's what it's really all about. So, you know, I think this is going to be interesting. I think this is going to be one of the most important debates of our lifetime. True story. I truly believe that. So, I'm excited. I'm excited about it, of course. And I think we're gonna see some stuff here. Let me tell you, more so than who I like or what I think about who's gonna win or lose, because it's not a boxing match. In the last minute or so, I think that what we're gonna see is who Biden really is at this point, because we're getting different information, a lot of different information there. We look at him, on one level, we look at him on another level, but Reef is going to be here shortly, guys, by the way, just so you know. But what we're going to find out is will the real Joe Biden please stand up? Because Trump is going to be Trump, and I feel like we know Trump. So with that, boom, let's see. Here we go, guys. Debate is starting.
Oh,
movie.
We'll never hear the end of it from Tim.
Yeah, you guys, I expect a can of Coca-Cola, but the Mexican kind that has the real sugar in it.
Bottles.
Bottles.
Yeah,
bottle.
They need to go to the original formula that has cocaine in it. That's what they need.
Joe
There's
Biden's
probably
like, one step ahead of
some
you.
countries where it's still legal, I guess.
I mean, I imagine you can just get the cocaine and put it in yourself, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but
So
Very
we are
DIY.
about CNN's countdown is 10 seconds, but I'm gonna wait until they actually begin the debate and not the exposition or whatever from CNN's moderators.
You don't want to talk to the moderators?
Well, that's for them. We want to comment on the debate itself.
Yeah.
I suppose we should probably just jump to it.
Photoshop.
We'll just jump to it.
We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the White House. In just moments, the current U.S. president will debate the former U.S. president as their party's presumptive nominee.
Boom, and here we go, y'all. It's on.
We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world to our studios in Atlanta. This is the CNN presidential debate.
This debate is being produced by CNN and is coming to you live on CNN, CNN International, CNN.com, CNN Max, and CNN Espanol.
Rumble is still down, y'all.
This is a pivotal
Not catching the
moment
Hotep
between
because Rumble is
President Joe
still
Biden and
down,
former
y'all.
President Donald
Let me
Trump
check X
in
for
their
it.
rematch for the nation's highest office. Each will make his case to the American people with just over 4 months until Election Day.
Man.
Good evening, I'm Dana Bash.
That's pretty crazy.
CNN's Inside
4 months out.
Politics and co-anchor of State
We just broke 100K on YouTube.
CNN's the
Well,
lead
welcome,
and co-anchor
everybody.
of State of
Make sure you follow me on X.
this evening. Our job is
Follow me on X at Twitter on X.
each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response is at the moderator's discretion.
Now we watch what the
Can you hear
Hotep
me?
show.
For a candidate to speak, his microphone
cool.
will be turned on and his opponent's microphone will be turned off. Should a candidate interrupt when his microphone is muted, he will be
No
difficult
logins
to
felons
understand
becoming
for
elected
viewers at
officials,
home.
right?
At the end
Can't
of the
wait to
debate,
hear what
each
Biden
candidate will get
has to
2
say.
minutes
Here's
for
the rules,
closing
guys.
statements. There is no studio audience tonight. Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate. By accepting our invitation to debate both candidates and their campaigns,
I'm going to mute this from time to time because I do not want to get shot.
Please welcome the 46th president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Folks, how are you?
He on drugs.
Look at him,
How many
yeah.
uppers y'all think he on?
A bunch.
They doped him up good before this debate.
That's true.
Oh, he's zooted.
And please welcome the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, y'all.
Rumble is still down.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here.
Trump walks in.
And please welcome the 45th president of the United
Wow, this is
States,
crazy.
Donald Trump.
Dude, this is
Oh, he's got a strut. Look at him.
WWE.
The 45th and 46th presidents. This is amazing.
Trump
This
just
is
smashed
history.
2 beer cans together on
It
the top
really
rope.
is remarkable. Like, it's worth noting the,
getting
the
the
difference in
volume?
body
Here, let's
posture and the
begin
way they move.
debate, and
Oh,
let's start
100%.
with the issue that voters consistently say top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has presidency than they were under President Trump.
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president. What Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled.
Oh, what? Prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency?
Oh
than
my
they were
gosh, look at
under
his
President
face.
Trump?
Look at him.
We
He
gotta
looks
take a
scared to
look at
death.
What I was left when I became president.
Oh.
And what Mr. Trump left me.
Oh boy.
We had an
He does not
economy
sound
that was
good.
in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people
Good
were
Lord.
dying, all
Trump's
this
like,
stuff
okay.
got serious. Just
This is
injecting-
kind of sad already. I'm not
This is
even just
abuse.
saying that. Yeah.
The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible.
Dude.
And so what we had to do
Wow,
was try
this
to
is a
put things back
humiliation
together
ritual.
again.
Oh, this is
I can't.
bad.
I'm,
Humil- yeah.
Began to do.
Legit, I'm
Sounds
shocked.
Yeah.
Terrible.
15,000 new jobs. We brought out.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be
You're
done.
just listening.
There's more to
He's
be done.
blinking really
Working class
rapidly every
people
time
are
he
still
clears
in
his
trouble.
throat.
I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania,
RFK Jr. sounds better
household
than this.
where the kitchen tables things weren't able to
Oh,
do
Shane
much was
Cashman.
a problem.
He's
Price of
he's
things,
lost his
price of
voice.
gas, the price of housing, the price.
The
of
number one
everything.
issue, according to Gallup,
That's why I'm working so hard
is
to make sure I deal.
poor leadership in government. It
and we're
is Joe
gonna make
Biden's.
Sure that we reduce the
Yo,
price of housing.
How's he going to get through
We're
this?
gonna
I
make
feel
sure-
kind of bad for Biden. I'm not just saying that. This is
And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs.
I don't need to Uno reverse that point.
To $15 for he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos. $100 for any drug, all the drugs they could include beginning next year. And the situation is we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price of around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you, President Trump.
He does not sound healthy.
Economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID. And when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you, President Biden.
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can. You
Am I
want
allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can. You want
to respond to him?
Trump has to respond.
Follow up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. Yeah. And then it blew up under his leadership because he spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst.
The boom in the economy is what kept the inflation at bay.
And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last
13
years
Marines.
under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt. Well, so far,
January was 1.4%. January 21, fact check.
New debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporate bring it up?
I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
We're watching
President
Nightwave.
Trump, over the
I'm in
last
Marsh
8
right now.
years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration...
Yeah, Dave, I've been talking about Rumble not working all over Twitter nonstop. I've been shitting on them for the past hour.
Approved $8.4 trillion in new debt. Well, so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Tell him to go
The
fuck
tax
himself.
cuts
I'll win
spurred
$100.
The greatest economy that we've ever seen,
Well,
just prior to
70.
COVID, and even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before. And we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of
Back to
it,
Tim
something
Kass
which
with
a lot
Alex
of people
Stein.
don't like to talk about.
Shane
But he had far
Cashman.
more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job.
That was
and I will tell you,
perfect.
not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer.
I don't even know this guy.
They don't
I was gonna say we're winning Phil over. It's
they don't
amazing.
respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things
Don't go
he's
there.
done. We've
Yeah.
become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country. And I'd love to ask him and will why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President
Gosh, look at
Biden
Joe Biden.
Looks like Rumble's back up, y'all.
Horrible.
about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president.
His voice is destroying
What's
it.
Harry Sasan saying
Number
about
two,
this? What's
he's
that?
got
This is the best he's ever looked.
Benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example,
Let's go back over
we
to the
have
Hotep.
1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America.
What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Tana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court
Cut to
overturned Roe v.
commercial.
Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restricted
Boom,
ban.
abortions. First
Former President Trump,
few minutes.
you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different.
Oh no! Oh no!
Finally beat
Oh
Medicare.
no!
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Dude, Jake Tapper just swept for him. He's like, okay, that's fine.
He's destroying Medicare because all of the.
Oh no!
That we'd be able to help make sure that all those.
I feel like we should be talking about Rumble more. Shut
things
up.
we need to do child care, elder care, making sure that we continue
It's all right,
to strengthen our healthcare system.
I should have had money on Joe Biden dying tonight. It might happen. I wish there was a bet on my bookie.
Making sure that we're
I'm
able
surprised
to
at
make
how bad
every
he
single
sounds.
solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with
I should have put $1,000 on Trump mentioning China first.
Dealing with everything we have to do with. Look.
Oh no! Oh no!
Finally beat.
Oh no!
He locked up.
Biden. President Trump.
Dude, Jake Tapper just swept for him. He's like, okay, that's fine.
He's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions. It's a shame.
Go to the
What's
quartering
happened
now.
to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us.
Joe,
We
did
give
you
them
see that
everything they want, and
meltdown?
They think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
My editor.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana.
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Oh, this is
This
bad.
morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit
Come on,
for
Rumble.
the decision
There we go. Everyone's
to
coming back.
overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However,
Smart.
the
smart,
federal
smart.
government
Yep.
still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion
got-
pills. They're used in about two-thirds
You need a
of all
folks
abortions.
Israel. Here's the deal.
As
Or
president,
bingo.
would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the
Push it.
Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision.
In whether or not women have access to
We're going
abortion
back
pills.
to Timcast.
They're used in about two-thirds of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it.
That is a
Now, I
great
just look at
move.
this whole question that you're asking, complex, but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put three great Supreme Court justices on the
astounded.
court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted.
It's
Now, 10 years
constitutional
ago
too.
or so, they
Aborting
started
Roe v.
talking about
Wade,
how
you
many
might say.
weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing.
They're pulling Biden after
Texas is different. Florida is
Look
different.
at his
Look,
face.
look at
This
Biden's
is it.
face
Oh
right
my
now,
God.
guys.
And right now, the
He'll step
states
down
control it.
gracefully.
That's the vote
Is
of
the medical
people.
emergency thing real?
Like
I
Ronald
mean, I don't know if
Reagan,
it's going to happen
believe
tonight.
in
I'm
the
saying they're going to
exceptions.
go
I
back and
am
be
a
like, you
person
can't
that
do this.
believes.
He's going
There
to
was
bow
a
out.
there was a time where I thought if
Agreed.
Trump talked too much, it would be
Agreed.
terrible. It is wonderful for him to sound like this and Biden to look confused while he's talking.
Yeah.
Biden looks like he is falling apart, like he doesn't know where he is. Look at him; he looks scared.
Trump's talking in straight lines.
Yes,
Because that
Weird.
has to do with
this
other
is
Back to the
probably going to
Hotep
end up if it keeps going like this. This is
Yeah.
Look at Biden. Look at his face right now. No. Respond, Trump. See, look at that. Ah, see, that's what I'm saying. That was bullshit. They wouldn't let him respond. Oh my gosh. What's happened since you changed the law, Joe Biden? What's happened? The worst immigration crisis. He is broken. What up? Protocol in the building. Back to Timcast. Let me know if you can hear it. He's a little behind. Negative on audio. They might have cut my audio. They might have cut my audio. How we doing now? Can you hear now? We hearing it all now? Let me know if you can hear the audio now. If you can hear me, talk to me, Sam. Talk to me. Let me know if you can hear me now. Nil on the video, but you can hear me. Only me. All right. I got to do something here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to close these tabs. We're going to stop the screen share. They trying to hurt me here, and then we're going to pull it back up so you can hear me. Awesome. This shit is already driving me crazy, y'all. I thought we were gonna do it. Let's go back to Rumble. Usually Rumble's gonna, you know what I mean, show the love here. So let's go back to Rumble and let's see here if I can go get it going. Let's see here. Let me know here. All right, so putting it back up.
We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a.
Let's see here. Also share tab audio. Yes. See if we got it.
It's at the funeral for this girl, 12 years old.
12 years old.
This is
Can you
horrible
hear
what's
them?
taking place. What's
No.
taking place in
You
our
hear Trump
country.
now.
We're literally
I didn't respond.
an uncivilized country now. He
There
doesn't
we go.
want it to
Audio
be.
is
He just
back.
doesn't know.
I got
He
tricks.
opened the borders.
I got
Nobody's
tricks,
ever
y'all.
seen anything
Illegal
like
immigrant just killed
I
two
got
people in
tricks.
a
the
lot of
Irving
these
Chick-fil-A
people out,
next
we
to
have
the
to get
Blaze
them out
Studios.
fast
I mean,
because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels.
Yeah, he's nailing
in
this.
New York City
Yeah.
and other places.
I
Our
can't
veterans
believe
are
how
on
good
the street.
Trump's
They're
doing.
dying because he doesn't
And I
care about
expected
our
him.
veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't
Well,
like the
yeah.
military at all.
Yeah, it's not even.
And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the
Look
highest
at how bad
approval
he
rating for
looks.
veterans taking
Look
care
at
of
how
the VA.
bad Biden
He
looks.
is the worst. He's gotten
Which
rid
guy
of
do
all
you
the
want
things that I
running the
approved.
country?
Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people to come in. And
President
it's a
Biden.
very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single
Look
thing
at
he
that.
said is a lie.
Told ya.
Every single one.
Good
For
call,
example,
Claire.
veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act.
He forgot about
1
He just said
million
that
of
the
them now have
children
this
dying
insurance.
because
Their
of illegal
families
immigrants
have
was
it.
a lie.
I know.
Their families have it
Wow.
because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And he opposed, his
He's gonna talk
group
about his son.
opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those
We're
burn
gonna
pits,
talk
came
about
back with
again.
stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about
Where you
those
shit your
heroes
pants.
that died.
Poop myself.
I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in
Yo,
there
the
because they're a bunch of
predicted
losers
market,
and
Tim?
suckers. My
Donald
son
Trump
was not a
63
loser,
cents
was
up
not a
8.
sucker.
Joe
You're the
Biden down
sucker.
38,
You're the
down to
loser.
38 cents, down 7
President Trump?
since the start.
Wow.
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials.
Made
We
it up.
notified him.
Third rate.
We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's
Biden does
taking
look like
better
he's in
care. I'm so
distress.
glad this came up and he brought it up.
Biden
There's
absolutely
nobody that's
looks like
taken
he's in
better care of our
distress.
soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line.
There we go.
We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing.
That's the
That's what
only
the VA is
obligation as a
doing now.
country we
We're
have.
doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right. Thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to
Notice how
begin
they
with
let
Russia's
Biden get the
war
last word
against
every
Ukraine, which is
single
now in
fucking
its third year.
time.
Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy.
Correct.
They can't stand him.
Correct.
They think he's the worst commander in chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. That when Putin watched that, and 16 economists are talking, it's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation.
Biden.
It
Look at
wasn't.
him.
That
Look
came
at
from
Biden's
his son,
face.
Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation.
Crackhead
He made
Hunter.
up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's
No
number
proof.
one. And
A guy
number
said
two,
you
the
said something.
idea the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. American history. And they now are their family veterans when they come home, and their families, and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin
Shut
with
up,
Russia's
bitch.
war against
The men are
Ukraine, which is
talking.
now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir
Dumb
Putin
broad.
says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO.
Jameson Campo
Are
says
Putin's terms
for
acceptable
two,
to
he
you?
goes, "What's
First
a
of all,
pasta
Our
packet
veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy.
Not
Can't
standing.
stand him. They think he's the worst commander in chief, if that's what you call him.
Look at the
we've ever
two
had.
of them.
They can't stand it. So let's get that straight. And they like me more
Look
than
at
just
him.
about
Whoa.
any of them.
What?
All right, this
Based on
debate
every
is kind
single
of fun
bit
in
of
its own
information.
unique way.
As far as
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when WWE during COVID, they had the Thunderdome. So they didn't have live audiences, but they had all the people on the screens, and it sucked. And you wanted regular WWE, but it was still in its own kind of weird way, kind of cool. Greasy M for two. What the fuck is wrong with Biden's eyes? Holy shit.
Russia and Ukraine. If we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin.
Some pulp for two. Biden is doing what Trump did during the first debate of 2020, shitting the bed. This time, literally.
He would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now. Much
you're
more
right,
than
Triple
people
M.
know. You
This
know,
is
they
like
talk
watching
about
the
numbers. You can
WNBA.
double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did
AKA
nothing to
funny
stop it. In
basketball.
fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in.
By the way, I don't know if it was on the air or off the air, but I sold Royce on the WNBA. I think it was off the air. We were having a discussion. I was like, bro, you keep shitting on the WNBA. I'm like, you got to watch it, dude. It's basically just funny basketball where nobody can play. It's really funny. It's like watching women play basketball is like watching retards play basketball. It's amazing.
I was going to say it was
I'll
more
tell
like
you-
watching children play basketball. It's very much more like watching children play basketball. We're going to slide on back over to Timcast, see how they got what they got to say right now. Let's see here. That's true. The best thing you can do is let Biden talk right now. The best thing you can do is let
We
Biden
lost
talk right now.
13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he
Oh,
said,
man, I'm seeing
"You know what?
liberals
I think we're going
freaking
to
out
go
at
in
CNN
and
over this."
maybe take my."
Yep.
This was his dream. I talked to him about it. His dream. The difference
Dave
is
Smith is
he
predicting that
never
Biden won't
would
even
have
be the
invaded
nominee.
Yeah, dude.
Ukraine. Never.
I think a lot of people have been
Just
predicting
like
that,
it's
right?
Israel
I
would have
mean,
never.
Cenk
been
Uygur is
invaded.
saying this is elder abuse.
In
It
a
is.
million years.
If we stick with Biden, it's a guaranteed
You know why?
loss.
Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't
Honestly,
let
it's gotta be
anybody
a
do
guaranteed
business
loss.
Biden
with
looks
them. They
scared
ran out
and
of money. They were
huge.
broke. They had no money for
And
Hamas.
that's why people are
They
saying
had
they're
no
doing
money
so
for
early.
anything. No money for terror. That's why you
Biden
had
can't
no
even
terror
hold
at
his head
all
up right now.
during my
This is
administration.
not
This
good.
place,
I
the
don't know how
whole
this
world is
campaign
blowing
Is
up
he taking
under him.
notes though? Is you think he's writing?
We're
with
going to
his
go back over to
hand?
Merch.
He
because
does
it
have
looks
a
like
I've
he's
never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. The matter is that we're in a situation.
never
where
heard
let's
so
take
much
the last point
malarkey in my
first.
whole life.
Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he
Watch
did
out,
nothing
talking about
it.
brain
Based on the
damage,
number He
bro.
was president.
Be careful
They
there, man.
attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place. Number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did.
What?
To Frank Luntz is saying that his undecided voters.
And he went in. And listen to what he said.
It's not going well for Biden.
He's going to take Kyiv.
It's not his policies, it's his presentation.
It's part of the old
He
Soviet
said,
Union.
I
That's what he
don't
wanted
like
to
when Trump is
reestablish.
yelling at Biden.
Kyiv. And he,
It
in
sounds like a
fact,
senior
didn't do
citizen
it at
bingo
all.
hall
He didn't-
argument.
Wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost over.
Trump needs to focus on what he's going to do.
Thousands of troops.
Thank you.
500,000 troops.
President Trump, if
I
I
never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute, I
some
just
point,
want
he's
to
gotta
go
give
back
hope
to my
to the
original
country.
question, which is,
Biden
are
symbolizes that.
Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the
No, they're
territory
not
in Ukraine.
acceptable. No, they're not acceptable. But look, this
No,
is
they're
a
not
war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led
Yes.
everybody along. He's given $200
Exactly.
billion dollars now or more
Accurate.
to Ukraine. He's given
Yeah, to
$200 billion
complete
dollars.
use, I
That's a
agree.
lot of money. I don't think
It's
there's ever
almost
been
as much as
anything
we've
like
given
That's a
Israel
lot
in
of
50
money.
years. Yeah.
Zelensky
50
comes
years.
to
A
this
lot of
country.
money.
He walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman, not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending,
silly.
it should have never happened. I
Never
will
happened.
have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
You
President
know,
Biden, you have a minute.
There you go. We're going to check back in
the
with
fact
Merch
is
now.
that Putin is a war criminal. Even 5 days, remember?
Bro, right now, Democrat strategists are fucking necking themselves over this shit.
As part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He didn't win.
Pronounced Kiev.
Done. And they've lost.
Always was.
They've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump, if
I
I
never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in
I
Ukraine.
will give Putin all of Ukraine.
You
President
know,
Biden, you have a minute.
the fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, every head of state is a war criminal.
And he has made one
Every
thing
one of them.
clear.
Correct.
He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries?
Fear
And so if you want a
mongering.
war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way, all that
Fear-mongering.
money we give Ukraine are from weapons we make here in the United States. We give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East.
Thank you.
In October,
How we doing, chat?
Hamas
Let me know.
attacked
Can you hear me?
Israel,
Is everything
killing
good?
more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of ended a humanitarian crisis. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from
First of all, I'm
the
tired.
United Nations
I'm sorry.
Security Council, straight through to the G7, to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself, have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out.
To quote Anthony Cumia, this is not good.
We're still pushing hard.
Not at all.
To get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack.
We don't want to fight Iran.
On Israel.
No, we have no
No one
desire.
was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And
Correct.
so they're 2 different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent 100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. You wouldn't, they wouldn't have any, they were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all, you got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask.
Rock and Sock and Bobby D says elder abuse?
Them as far as
probably
Israel and
Slide
Hamas.
back over to Tim
Israel's
Cass
I've
now.
never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to
I've
get out
never
of
heard so
NATO.
much
You
malarkey. I've never heard so much foolishness.
He's going to pull out of NATO. Be a big ocean. But we haven't-
The
ever had
liberal
a
response
war in
right now on
Europe, a
X
major war in Europe.
is telling. They are
happens if
either
in fact we
screaming,
have
saying, CNN, what are you
continue
doing?
to go
Stop
into
doing this.
NATO.
Like
There's
as
an
if the
Article
moderators
5
can
agreement.
save him.
Attack
And the
on
others are saying, we're
on
cooked.
all. You want to start
People
the
are freaking out.
of the markets.
Go ahead.
Everything
betting
I'm getting
markets
right now,
go in,
guys,
control.
just so you know, a little
National-
inside baseball. Everything I'm getting right now is that they are freaking out on the Biden team right now. They are losing their shit
Other
right now.
nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
Wait, so
President Trump, just to follow
there is
up,
no end to this war. is what
would you
he's
support the
if I am
creation of an
president.
Well, that's what he
independent
wants.
Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions. Is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this. I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting with 28 states at that time, nations at that time?
Going
And I
over
said,
to
no, if you don't pay,
podcast.
And control Ukraine to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted.
You rallied your supporters that day. Some of them
January
stormed the
6th, here it
Capitol
comes.
to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few.
Yep.
On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever.
He's
On
true.
January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody.
No, he
I
did
said
not.
peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, But she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard.
Yep.
And she
he
turned
did.
them down. And the mayor of
And she owned responsibility for it.
In writing.
People always forget that about J6. He said, I'll send the National Guard. And they said, fuck
Turned
no.
it down. The mayor of
Correct.
D.C.
They didn't even call him
They
back.
turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see. I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it.
He
Instead,
did
he
call.
talked about these people being
He's
patriots
lying.
and
Joe
great
Biden
patriots
is
of
lying.
America.
Remember
In fact,
that?
He says
Remember
he'll not
that
forgive
straight
them for
line?
what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no.
Remember this? Remember when we all went to bed and it went whoop?
I don't know how many cases
across the country,
scores of cases, including the Supreme Court, and they said no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable.
No,
and he
they
wants to let them all out, and now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that
He's a whiner.
bloodbath.
Thank you, President
You
Biden.
lying
President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've
You ought to
destroyed the
be
lives
ashamed.
of so many people.
Yes.
When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
Oh, and then
The only
look, they
person on the
interrupted
stage
him.
is a
They
convicted
interrupted
felon,
him.
is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody
No, they
just
do
went in and
not.
broke down doors,
You're talking
broke the
about
windows,
people we know personally.
occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked
Come
him
on,
the first
man.
two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by.
Look, no, we don't.
The idea he's refusing, will you
Proud
denounce
Boys
these
for
guys?
life.
We denounce the people we're talking about now? We denounce the people who attacked that Capitol?
Just ignore him.
What are you going to do?
Just ignore him.
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump.
Not even
for
gonna
a
look
follow-up
at your
question.
Oh, that is going to be amazing. dude.
After a jury.
The press is going to try to spin that like Donald Trump was dodging him. But one, his mic's muted because he's not allowed to talk while Biden's talking. We know that. And now Biden just looked like a feeble old man. Come on, you got man up. You're like, shut up, old man. Go fucking go away.
After your political opponents.
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country
He just was
successful
like,
again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon. At a very high level. His son is convicted. Going to be convicted probably.
No.
Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important thing. things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump.
Nice.
President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. Well, you want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
Oh, yeah, you guys do whatever you want, Mr. President.
That I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night?
By the way, based baller.
What are you talking about?
I've fucked porn actresses before. It's awesome.
Well, I haven't.
You're the morals of an alley cat.
Has nothing to do with your president.
What does that even mean?
I didn't have sex with a
Biden is now plummeting in the polls. Turns out we love cats around here.
porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office.
I love how Trump will deny Stormy Daniels to this day, but he'll lean into the vax. Trump, if you knew your 2016 base, i.e. me, i.e. Ann Coulter, i.e. Milo Yiannopoulos, all these niggas that got you elected on poll, you know what I mean? Like 4chan memes.
We like this.
You would lean out of the fucking vax shit and go, yo, I fucked up with that vaccination shit. I'm sorry. But I fucked the dog shit out of Stormy Daniels. I came in her asshole. Should be your fucking reply to that dude. And you would go up in the poll. Nigga, you realize you're a felon now? You have a mugshot in Georgia. You ain't even done that case yet. You already got found guilty in New York. You're already a fucking black man's wet dream. And you're out here denying the porn star pussy, but going, Operation Warp Speed, it's my greatest accomplishment. It's like, flip the script, nigga. Let me be your fucking campaign manager. You will get elected again. Trust me.
To start that case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. When they found out about these cases, you know what they did?
What happened?
Our poll numbers went up way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in.
By the way, I'm starting to realize who the real normie fags are. I got 97 people watching on YouTube still. Damian Scott, Trenton Wade, Occupy My Life. Is this where all these people have been? Kai Sportsman, these normie fags, Kevin G, the old man, King Yeti. I'm looking at all you normie pussy retard faggots. Hillbilly Harry. Why aren't you on Rumble? Did Debo? Well, Debo Money's over. I think Hillbilly Harry's over there too. But the rest of y'all are just normie fags. Oh no, we're so based that we won't download an extra app that has all the based YouTubers. I'm gonna listen to true crime videos where the word murder is fucking bleeped out so they can get monetized.
I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
What?
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous.
During the Charlottesville, there was a guy with a flag.
This guy has no sense of American democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that, sir, has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on this. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance.
That's been in his face the whole time, Tim.
You
He's
know
just
it. I
like
know it. It's ridiculous. We have a
deer in
debate.
the headlights
We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency is, without question, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every anchor has every
And Wilson was
reasonable
also,
anchor.
like,
Now, come on, CNN,
incapacitated towards the
confirm this.
And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked.
They're getting
It's a
Look at it. They're
nonsense
getting
story.
his
He
break.
knows
Look
that.
at Joe. Look at
Confirm it,
Joe.
He didn't run because of
CNN.
Charlottesville. He used
Can't
that.
figure out
if it
he's
was
getting
Trump or
mad.
if it was
See,
Biden.
he's only confused for so long.
Happened.
Look, see,
All
look,
you have to do
mad.
is
No, it
Mad.
didn't.
Time.
Let's roll it again.
The idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people.
You said it was the only reason you
Literally
ran.
Snopes.
Fact check real time. Biden is lying.
Those
Fact check real time. Biden is lying.
didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's
The
talking
American
about
people decide
all
who
this
deserves to
being
be president.
fabricated. We saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why.
Occupying his own vice.
Guys, this is nuts. Give me a second. We're rolling back in right now. We're going to PBD right now.
Officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why?
Because
They
Mike
know him
Pence
well.
is a
They
traitor.
serve with him. Why are
Because
they not
Mike
endorsing
Pence
him?
is a traitor.
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
PBD.
You can pause it.
Are
By
we
the
gonna-
way,
are we gonna discuss this right now?
Rob, do me a favor, Rob. Go to my Twitter account. Go to my Twitter account.
Yeah.
You're standing up in the middle of the camera, guys. Be
No,
careful.
they can. You're fine, guys. If
Yeah,
you
go.
need to use
Go to
your
the
restroom,
bathroom.
you can do your thing. We're here. If you do need to, I'm going to show you right now.
Yeah.
Rob, go to my last tweet. Guys, if you can do me a favor, you can walk around, but don't make a lot of noise.
Yeah, not
Okay.
too much noise, guys.
Guys, if you can, you guys can go to the bathroom. Just keep it down so the audience can hear us. This is because you'd be in jail moment, and it's over after this. Go ahead, Rob. This is it. This is when it was done with.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I
Yeah.
don't think he knows what he said either.
It's
Look,
over.
It's done.
By the way, this is, I don't even know what word to use. This is done. This is embarrassing. And the most important question every voter has to answer is the following.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the likelihood of that China, Russia, and Iran's watching this right now?
100%.
So let me ask you a question. If they could somehow, some way participate to manipulate our election, which one of those two do you think they would prefer winning the
It's not
election?
Joe Biden. Not even
Joe Biden.
Wow.
Period. Done. That's the only thing. If the only way you vote, trying to make sure the country is safe for you, your wife, ask the question, do you believe China, Russia, and Iran hate America? If they do you believe they would prefer to go up against a Trump or a Biden? Based on whatever your answer is, vote accordingly.
Wow. And I genuinely think, because we know, everybody here knows what they just saw. That's them not giving him the drugs. That's them shifting off of him, Pat. This is proof from the State of the Union to right now. That's exactly what they wanted. That's why Gavin Newsom's ass is at the debate. I'm telling you guys right now, this is everybody shifting off of Adam. That moment, that switch and bait and whatever you called it, that is it. There's no, and his voice is rasped because for a week they've been making him practice and yell and scream and whatever. And this is the result. I'm
Hey,
telling you,
I don't know what
that
you're
money
talking
now.
about. I thought he looked great.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I thought
But
Biden looked
Pat,
sharp. I thought he looked on point.
Would you agree though? Because what happened to the drugged up, giving him the
Yeah.
stuff, and that's not the same guy. That meaning figuratively and not whatever. That's not the same guy that was at the State of the Union. That is the most embarrassing shit I've seen.
Yeah, I'll actually be serious right now. This is a watershed moment in American history. I've watched every single debate, every single presidential debate since 1992 because Bill Clinton was my guy. And this is literally embarrassing. This is embarrassing for America. This is embarrassing for the Democratic Party. This is embarrassing for Joe Biden, if he even still doesn't know what's happening right now, it's not a good look. And they're going to have to go back to the drawing board literally after this.
As you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs.
Lose.
Child care.
You know, with the over-under was 3. I'd rather have a convicted felon than a certified
still 30 minutes
vegetable.
left.
A certified vegetable in the White House. How can here's the message to any how can you possibly vote for this?
Yeah.
Put away all your feelings about Trump, all the, both sides, all the stuff, January 6th. How in the world can you say, yep, he's got my vote? It's embarrassing. And I mean this sincerely. Joe Biden, thank you for.
We got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left.
Oh,
What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any Black family, first-time home buyer, should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home so they can get started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those Black families and those Black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were ballooning, that if they were engaged in nursing.
Baloney? Did he just say baloney?
Anything having to do with
Say Black
volunteers.
families and baloney?
If they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest was forgiven after
horrible.
10 years.
That's right.
Millions have
Click that.
benefited
This
from
is-
that.
this is- it's
And we're
over.
going to do a whole lot
Gavin
more.
Newsom, Michelle,
Black
they're
families.
all
Thank you, President Trump.
everything that I thought.
And he caused the inflation.
Going
He's
back over to
planning
wow.
inflation. It's been very bad. He caused it, and it's killing.
Healthcare.
Maybe it is, yeah, 80
This
million.
guy
Yeah, I'm
wants
sorry.
to
Yes, you're
eliminate
right.
it.
80 million.
They tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of
Biden's
the
rubbing
ACA
off on me.
again. And they're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing
no.
we put more police on the street than any
NBC reporting Biden has a cold.
We're providing.
I swear,
Oh
Kelly
my
O'Donnell.
God. It is embarrassing. At some point, they have to realize how embarrassing it is.
Well, that's how they're going to spin it. They're going to be like, look at the performance he did while he was sick. It's like the Michael Jordan flu game, he's sick and still did a great job.
Yeah,
Kelly O'Donnell, senior White House correspondent to NBC News, says
2023
two
was the
sources say
hottest
Biden
year
has a
in
cold.
recorded history, and communities across
Yeah, of course.
the
Of
country
course.
are confronting the devastating effects of
4 years
extreme
ago.
heat.
I don't know how that's possible.
He'll
get a cold when he's president,
stronger
too.
hurricanes and rising
Right.
sea levels. Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Talk about
Let me
fake
just go
clouds,
back
please.
to what he said about
I love that he just keeps
police.
ignoring her.
How close the police are to him.
Look at what her
Almost
husband
every
does.
Police group in the nation.
He should
from
ignore
every
her.
state.
As president to slow the climate crisis.
Well, let me just go back to what he said about.
Let me tell you right now, I will be drilling for so much oil, you would swear that I was Mersh in his strip club DJ days. Give me one of those, Trump.
The police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost
Correct.
every police group.
Correct.
And what he's done to the black
Look at Biden. Look at his face.
population
Oh.
is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget
Yeah.
that. Super predators was his name.
You're
And
not
he called
saying
it to
that,
him
huh?
for 10, and they've taken great offense at it. And now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities, where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job, great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country, opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever, the best numbers.
Shout out protocol.
He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a
Yes,
horrible job
absolutely.
for Hispanics. But wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best.
Going over to Tim.
And he did say the N word too multiple times.
Fair point though. Biden didn't say so. That was Hillary Clinton who did. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't like this question because it's so
I
subjective.
don't know where the hell he's been. What the idea that anything he said is true. I passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history.
It costs
In history.
jobs.
We find ourselves
struggling
by
to
the way,
breathe.
Black
Keystone
colleges.
Pipeline.
Well, he
shut
has
that
a cold.
down.
Came up with $15 billion for
He's had one for weeks.
HBCUs, historic Black universities and colleges, because they don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like.
Wow.
Any Black student is capable in college of doing any white student can do. They just don't have the money. But now they'll be able to
He's
get
about to say black people don't know what
jobs in
computers are.
high tech.
Yeah.
We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water. He hadn't done a
I think he
damn
said he
thing
wanted
for the
cleaner water, right?
No,
He
he said we had
out of the
cleanest
Paris
Had the cleanest water?
I mean, it's
Clean
not
water.
hyperbole. It's not.
I immediately joined it because if we reach
Like, how is Flint
1.5 degrees Celsius at any one point where there's no way
If you were
back.
really concerned
only
about it, you'd be
existential
talking
threat
about
to humanity
China and
is
India.
climate change.
What if Trump
He doesn't
said
know a damn thing about it? He wants to
the water's
undo
turning all the
that.
frogs gay?
I think he should talk about
Paris
the
Accord
jobs.
was going to cost us $1 trillion,
Yeah, they're-
and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing.
Joe
It was a
Biden, stop
ripoff of the
aping.
United
It's not a
States.
good thing.
No,
And
stop
he
telling him
ended
to do
it.
things that'll help him. What's wrong with you?
He's never going to listen
Because
to
they
me
treat
ever.
us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it, and it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin
That's
down
right.
for the
Mhm.
seniors. I took care of the seniors.
Correct.
What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people, but we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools,
other
our
performance in the
hospitals.
debate has
They're going to
been
be
this bad
taking over Social Security.
in recent
He is
memory?
destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Hassan the Hun says, Hassan
The
Piker,
idea is
Biden saw RFK Jr.
we,
doing
in
numbers
fact,
on TikTok and wanted
we
to sound
were
like him.
The only ones of consequence.
Brutal, dude.
We're not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything? We're not able to. The United States can't get this under control. One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By
Your nose, do it.
2035,
Get
we
it.
will have cut pollution and continue to make progress. We set up a climate corps for thousands of young people to learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of
Spending
cause. of
federal
pollution.
money, and we're also
But the
destroying
idea
jobs in local
that
economies.
he
Cool.
claims
Sounds
that
good.
he has the biggest heart up here, and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate. I've not seen any.
Boy, they
indication
seem to
of
be
that.
letting Joe
And
Biden
by the
talk
way,
a whole lot
with
more,
regard
don't they?
to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
Struggle just to make ends meet.
Shut
For
up.
many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut.
I'd like
in
to
just
thank
over
CNN for
10
this.
years. Will you name
Tremendously.
tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
So stupid.
Right now,
So stupid.
everybody making under
Are you
$170,000
kidding?
$100,000 pays 6% of their income.
You
Of
can
their
scream,
paycheck
Phil, but
every
he can't
single
hear
time
you.
they get a paycheck.
It's infuriating because that is not going to change one goddamn.
The idea that they're gonna,
There's not enough wealthy people in this country that you can
Everybody
tax to actually
pay-
cover the cost of the deficit.
millionaires pay 1%.
I mean, like a yearly deficit.
You would have
No one
to.
after-
You'd have, yeah,
I- I
exactly.
cannot
If you
raise the
taxed all
cost
of the
of
millionaires at
Social
100%, it would not even cover a small fraction of U.S. federal spending per year.
The fact that this is even being said should be fact checked by CNN. If there was any attempt at
You still have 82
actual
seconds left.
honesty,
Are there any other
right?
measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent.
No, it won't.
Defeat this man.
It's $10 a year just in interest.
I need to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security.
I think Phil doesn't like Joe.
It's infuriating because this is the most important thing that we have to worry about. This is national security. This is the future. Like we talk about kids and families. If this doesn't get fixed, like millions of people will die because no one is going to own our debt. This is the most important thing.
He has no plan.
He has no plan. God, it's infuriating.
He knows he won't be here for that. He doesn't care.
You're in a circumstance where
it's infuriating.
400,000, I mean,
I wonder
40
if the
million
new
people
candidate will have all
not
the
have
talking
insurance
points,
because
or
of
they
the
keep
pre-existing
using his.
condition.
I think it's interesting that they were like, is there anything else? And he was, no, just that one thing. And now I'm going to say why Trump is bad.
Yeah.
And by the way,
It's a very negative campaign. It always has.
Situation where I talk about education for Black communities. I've raised
And then I'm going to talk about Black people because I think that'll help me now.
Another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 toward their tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh,
thank you, President Biden.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Politicians, all my life, I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lied.
Step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent.
Yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6%. Every single time they get a paycheck from the
lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country. And they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Cards from the mayor.
It's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden?
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he said they begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the.
So you still have
That's
82
wrong.
seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent.
enough
but the
Americans
biggest
to
thing will
create
do
enough
is defeat
revenue.
this.
I'm having so much fun not even listening to these two. We're just having fun tonight. By the way, don't ever come into like a Nightwave show and expect me to cover politics, or like culture war shit and ever take this shit seriously. This is why people choose to watch Nightwave Radio, because we don't take any of this shit seriously. We're having fun. ADD kicks in. We're having fun. Like we don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to take this seriously. The future is over. Read the Bible. All right. Like a lot of people love to quote the Bible.
They rate him the worst because what he's done is
Back
so
to the
bad.
Hotep.
And they rate me. I'll show you. I will show you. And they rate me one of the best. Okay. And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. 4 years, I will be the best. I think.
Hang in there.
Tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including the two of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about, he's increased the tariff, he will increase the taxes on middle class people. I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But this tariff is 10% tariff.
Going back over
Everything
to
coming in the country. You know what they're
fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired every military man
Go
that
back to
was
you're
involved
fired
with
right
that
here?
Afghan.
I just love that Trump was like, yes, we
Afghanistan,
should fire people who are bad.
horror
And
show.
Biden's like,
Most
can you
embarrassing
would
moment
fire
in the
someone?
history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did
Have
anybody
you
look like
Joe?
that allow
Have
18 million
you?
people? Many from
I don't
prison,
think you have.
many
I don't think
from
you have,
mental
Joe. I
institutions.
don't
Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed?
Get him.
Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate.
Nice.
Wow.
That's it.
Boom.
He's the
That's
worst
it.
president.
That was
You
it.
just said about me because I said it.
That was good.
Look, he's the worst president in the history of our country.
I've never seen someone
He's
look this
destroyed our
confused for this
country.
long amount of
Now
time.
all of a sudden,
When he
he's trying
says
to get
he's
a
the
little
worst
tough on the border.
president,
He came out with a
understand for a lot of
nothing-
people,
a nothing deal. And it
saying
reduced it a
things is
little bit,
enforcing it in their
a little
minds.
bit,
Yeah.
like
People will repeat that.
insignificant.
They're going to be at a coffee shop like, well, he is the worst president of our lifetime.
Country to either
Walk
be
around outside.
destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters.
Yes.
And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance
Nope.
of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how
Was
bad
that
it
on the
is.
drinking game?
He's
That was on the
worst
drinking game.
in history by far.
There you
Thank
go.
you, President
everybody.
Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world.
No,
The United
By
States
who?
of America.
What?
There's nothing
By
beyond
who,
our
bro?
capacity.
it's just
We're the
arrogance, right?
finest
Yeah.
military in the
It's
history
just
of the world.
assert my arrogance.
Finest in the history
And
of
it's
the
like,
world.
yeah, we
No
used to be a
one
really
thinks
great
we're
country with all
No
kinds of
one
great values,
wants to
and then you
screw around with
destroyed
us.
them,
Nobody.
and now you think
Number
that
one.
people still think
Number
of us
two,
that
the
way.
idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking.
Have they not talked
Look it
about
up.
trans
Go
or
online.
LGBT?
Nope.
159
Right.
58.
I actually
on Pride
interested
Month.
in the
Listen,
childcare question.
all he does is appeal to authority.
They had meetings and they voted. Who's the worst?
Is the worst
That's not
president.
a-
The same
that's not
poll said
conjecture.
Wilson was one of the
You
best.
can argue they're wrong, but that's what
Did
they
it really?
Nah, I'm just
The
kidding.
idea that he is knowing doing anything to deal with
Brought back
child care.
segregation, which
he did
Wilson,
very
yeah.
much.
His first
Significantly increased the availability of women
Like immigration.
education for Black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year going to be able to get $15,000 towards their tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
I hear
Thank
you,
President
Jack.
Biden. President Trump.
So
Well,
I've
and more-
dealt with politicians all
There's
my
a lot
life.
goes into
I've
that,
been on
Jack.
this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face. About so many other things too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our unbelievable veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
Curb shifter got it. Thank you,
The
boys.
idea that veterans are not being taken care of. I told you before. And by
Nobody has to clip it now. Curb shifter's got it. He sent it to me.
the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged.
By the way,
That's
we're
what
way behind on the debate. So if you're watching it live, like
Yeah.
I'm
They're way behind. So we gonna catch you up just a little bit here. We are gonna go to PBD. I think they're the most farthest along. Correct. Are we though? Some of my friends said some bad things about Donald Trump. Exactly. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Boom. Wait, what? What? Huh? Yeah. You did. No. Oh, it doesn't even make sense what he's saying. It was the best time ever for the middle class. You're lying. It was great. I lived through it, bitch. Ah, damn it. Lost audio again. 1 second here. See if we can get back here. We doing it, guys. Hang in there with me. I think we'll be able to get it back. Coming in now. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know if you
We're
hear
the most
audio now.
progressive
Let me
country
know.
in the world in getting things
Talk
done.
to me,
We're
people.
the strongest country in the world.
Let me know. Do you
We're a
got
country in the world
audio
who keeps
now
our
of
word,
the
and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and our those who he cuddles up to, from Kim Jong Un, he sends love letters to him, Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
We're going here to check. He absolutely did. Check. Son of a gun. And we are back. I hear you guys. I think basically, Biden is doing such a bad job right now that they are. Man, you can hardly see me. I think Biden is doing such a bad job right now that they are like, holy crap, we have to shut it down. You know what I mean? Which is fair. I understand that. So let's see here. Let's see if I can get some. We'll try one more time because the whole point is we watching the debates, baby. You know what I'm saying? We watching the debates. That's my Bootsy Collins right there. Let's go to Timcast. Let's see if we can get some Timcast action going on. You know what I mean? Let me know stay in the chats with me and let me know if you can hear this.
Pros of addiction who are struggling.
Ilhan Omar. I'm sure she means they are not pushing.
Finish
back.
up. We now have the largest deficit.
Keith Oldman's
in the
crying
history
about
of our country
CNN.
under
Once
this
again,
guy.
Yeah.
Trump asked the
The
question.
largest
That's their play.
deficit
The
with
pro
China.
Biden people are saying
He gets
CNN
paid by
is
China. He's a
bad,
Manchurian
and the
candidate.
realistic
He gets
liberals
money
are
from
like, and the
China.
progressives are like,
We have-
Biden
I
is
think
done.
he's afraid to deal with
You
them or
hear that
something.
now, guys?
But
just
do you
called him a
notice he
Manchurian
never took
candidate?
out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous.
The other
And we saved
countries
our
pay
steel
for the
industries,
tariffs to
and
be able
there
to
was
do
more to
business
come,
here.
but he
This
hasn't
is
done
not
that.
rocket
But
science.
he hasn't cut the tariffs
Thank you, Jack.
because
Thank
he
you,
can't,
brother.
because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China is going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes
go.
of
Still gonna say
addiction
he's
right
gonna
now
do
who are
See this?
struggling to get the treatment?
Current
they
betting
need?
odds.
Jake, we were
Trump
doing
is now
very
up
well at addiction until the COVID came along.
18.1.
We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's
Exactly.
ever had before, any country in every
Exactly.
way. And then we had to get tough.
This question's
And it was
interesting 'cause they
the
just had
drugs
this one
pouring
we're
across the
rolling on
border
bankruptcy
were
case involving the Sackler
it
family.
started to increase.
Joe
We
is
got great
looking tired,
equipment. We
exactly.
bought the certain dog that's the most incredible
walking.
thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot. And we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways.
Oh yeah.
But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women.
Guys, look
coming
at Joe's
across
face.
our border.
I just got to pause. Look at Joe.
The
Well, that's
worst
not
thing
even
I've ever seen at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him
Borders totally
because the border's
collapsed. When I
so
was in
bad.
Numa, they don't even
the
patrol it.
number
Like they
of
patrol it
drugs
just like
coming across our border
TSA,
now
but they want to
is-
give you a
is
water
Joe
bottle
is
and
falling
we've ever had
asleep.
by
bag for your
far.
suitcase. and
President
give you a
Trump, thank you.
room.
There's
President
mountains in
Look at
Arizona
her.
that the cartel run that are on the American
Oh,
side.
oh, yeah.
And so like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all literally
I
run by
wanted to make
gangs.
sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl.
Border's an
Those big
abstract
machines
idea.
that roll over everything that comes across the border.
Frank
That
Lund
costs a
says
lot of
Trump
money.
sounds like a man of the
That was
people.
part of this deal we put together. This bipartisan deal.
Joe Biden's
More
the witness
fentanyl
of the
machines.
Oh, no, he's saying
more be able to
Challenger Trump sounds like a man of the people.
more-
Incumbent
more
Trump sounds like a
numbers
man out for himself.
of agents, more.
It's a different Trump tonight. Wow.
Oh,
Look at
this
Joe
drugs-
Biden. Just
This
look
Trump's
at him.
We had
more
that deal
presidential
done.
and more on
He went up
discipline.
to
Just look at Joe Biden.
Don't
Frank
do
Lund
it.
says, after
It's
the
gonna
first
hurt me.
commercial break, I asked the focus
No, he
group of
never-
undecided
It's not a good
how
bill.
many are more
It's a really
convinced to
good
vote for Biden. Zero.
Mhm.
Switch over to
The
Merch.
places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew
Correct.
not to do it.
Correct.
He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole
What,
thing
did the
from
fucking
this man
earpiece
right here.
Dude, did the earpiece
That's a
leak
war
into
that
the
should have
mic?
Never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And you asked me a question before. Would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia, because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, "I will never settle until such time." They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
Guys, you hear that, right? Somebody's mic is picking up somebody's headset.
Listen to that,
I
guys.
hope somebody.
Ooh,
Guys,
this is gonna be
please.
good.
Let us all pray now. Let us all pray real quick. Can we get some praying music? I'm not even going with Christian because Christians are a bunch of fucking cocks now.
Damn. There we go. Woo! This is gonna be.
It's so easy to get your windshield.
Oh my God, I'm not
like,
logged in
people, why
as
you haven't done it already.
with one of my premium. I haven't seen a YouTube ad in fucking years, and that was the first time I've seen one, and I was like, oh, that's jarring. All right, ready? Can we get it? Will you start? Will it work? Is it going to do it? There we go.
We're praying. We're hoping. We're praying.
To you internet autists out there, please. I know you're already working on it. I know 4chan, 8chan, all the chans, X, all you niggas is working on Jackson Hinkle, that commie faggot. They're all working on it right now. So let's clean up that audio. Let's enhance. Pray to the internet autists right now.
We gotta go to Tim Cass.
Place I made a catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here.
Him
We had so many things that we had done.
These guys live in
hard
two alternate
negotiations
realities.
with Mexico, and I got it all
It's
for
like showing
nothing.
people,
It's just like when you
George
have a
Floyd
hostage, we
video or
always pay
Rittenhouse
$6
video, and they
billion. Every
What
time we
is
say
going on with the streets
now we
tonight,
have a
guys?
hostage,
Oh
the Wall Street
my
Journal
God.
reporter.
Oh,
I think a good guy, and he's over there.
The
because
only man
person
laughing
supporting
because
Biden
they're
right now is
probably
Harry
asking for
Sisson.
billions of dollars very quickly.
Tweeting CNN is watching it, CNN. They know it's bad. And then progressives are like,
guys, this is
Literally,
nuts.
as soon as
This
I
is
win the
also-
election,
CNN got a lot of flack
I will
on
have
town
that
hall.
reporter
Remember
out.
that?
He should have had him out a long
I'm
time
so
ago.
serious. I see
But
Biden
Putin's
giving,
probably
like, a
asking
very
for billions and
serious,
billions of
sad
dollars
speech
because this
stepping
guy
down.
pays it
this
every
is
time. We
exactly
had two
why
cases. We paid
They
$6
have
billion
been using
for 5
lawfare
people.
against Donald Trump.
I got
Because this would
58
be
people out,
every
and I paid
single
essentially nothing.
day if they were not put, if they
Thank
did
you,
not have him
President
in
Trump.
court and they didn't
Let's
have
turn to
him
concerns that voters
constantly,
have
like,
about each of you.
he would be
President Biden,
brutalizing
you would be
Joe Biden.
all right, let's hear.
at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
He's going to slur the answer.
First,
I guess we're gonna roll on
I
over and
spent half my career being
Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up,
oh God,
we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a
Right, guys, tell me
Manchurian
he's serious.
candidate.
Pay
He
a
gets
little
money from
attention.
China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries and there was more to come, but he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog. That's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot.
and we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways, but the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him, because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl, these big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border.
Wow.
And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically. No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage, we always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, the Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly, as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said, by literally, as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people.
Cook Trump.
I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate.
Dude, nobody.
And now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people.
Bro, we lost over 45% of all small businesses
computer chips.
under
We
the
used to have
Biden
50% of the market.
administration.
We invented those chips.
Number.
And we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and then bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call that to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America.
A lot.
All our problems and all our opportunities.
A lot right now.
We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and
this
those
is why
who
we're
he
losing.
cuddles up to, from
This is why
Kim
we're
Jong-un, he
failing,
sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to
Here's where you
serve?
can burn
Well, I
joke
took
out.
2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy
Yeah.
one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He
Let's
couldn't
go.
do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior.
2 club
club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds or 235 pounds.
220,
Well, you said
35
6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what he
That's a
says.
bad
he is
look.
and
That's
take
a
look at what he
bad
is.
look.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Now they're arguing about golf.
But I had,
Golf fight. Golf
I've
fight.
seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay,
Let's
let's
not act like children.
President
Joe.
Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Let's not act like children.
to a specific concern that voters have
Oh
about
my
you.
God, did you see
Will
that?
you pledge tonight
Let's not act like
that once
children,
all
Joe.
legal
I'm pausing. I know we're behind, but holy crap, that was powerful. Let's not act like children, Jeff. Let's not act like children.
challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election,
cheat.
regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody.
Yep.
And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III. And we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, a required response. The idea. I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
How about what's happening in America,
President
Joe?
Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump. Nothing. He knew not to do it.
Boom.
Not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this with? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia, because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election,
Tell him, Trump.
absolutely.
Tell
I
him,
would have
Trump.
much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week.
Let's go.
But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit.
That's not true
State
at all.
or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There's no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea, if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
Rob, how long is this debate? Is it an hour and a half or 2 hours?
I thought it was only
No, they're
an hour and a half.
They're going to keep you through. They want to sell a little ad time, commercial time.
All right.
They're going to come back and say, all right, wrap up.
I want to ask you guys.
Pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400.
Sorry about that, guys. They're in a break right now, and we are trying to queue up and just check around the internet. Although Rumble is just running just janky. Rumble is janky right now, so we're gonna go to Timcast.
Tens of millions or more watching, and there's dead air with Biden going. You're like, thank you, Trump. Please talk.
And Trump is like, yes, I don't worry. I definitely can handle this.
Yeah, I can talk.
What blows my mind is the most shocking lie of the entire night is that Joe Biden has a 6 handicap on the golf course. I mean,
that was amazing. And then Trump's like, that's a lie. Maybe an 8.
Yeah. I just think Joe Biden inspires no hope, and he symbolizes death and despair. And his whole career has been that way. He's used grief. He's exploited his own grief throughout his entire career. And I truly see, like, it's hard for me to imagine the election because we're in such an absurd world. I see him bowing out, trying to do it gracefully, appealing to sympathies of the people, saying, as you know, summoning all the grief of his entire career and being like, I'm going to bow out now because I'm too old. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to move on to the next people to inspire hope. That's the only thing I imagine happening. Him bowing out, trying to make it sound stoic.
Tomorrow's Timcast IRL, tomorrow at 8 p.m., it's probably going to be wild. the analysis, the polling.
Yeah.
We are going to start getting first responses from focus groups. Like even Frank Luntz's focus group was like, no Biden. This is incredible stuff. It is going to be a new day tomorrow. That's why many people are outright saying, Newsom, like this is going to be it. So let's continue final thoughts and then chat your stuff out. Let's roll.
So the New York Times published this. This is a disaster piece 30 minutes into the debate. I'm hearing high anxiety from Democrats over Biden's debate performance. This is an absolute unmitigated disaster. And if you're any of yeah, for Biden, if you're out there defending Biden, you need to stop because you are making an absolute idiot of yourself. No one will respect your opinion in the future because they're going to look at you and say that you are lying, just like the media. And in a time when Americans have lost trust in every institution, the government, the media, even the military, don't align yourself with the people that are saying, no, Joe Biden is fine. Don't align yourself with the people that can't see the emperor has no clothes.
Right. Joe Biden's whole career right now, or at least his whole presidency, is about manipulating and gaslighting the American public. And we saw that over and over again in this debate. When Trump references the girls who have been murdered by illegal immigrants and a couple other things, and Joe Biden responds, he just lied about everything. He won't even acknowledge tragedy that occurs in America every single day. He also weirdly tried to rope in Lake and Riley into this conversation about abortion, and then mentions that people get raped by their in-laws. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Weird.
And at its most benign, it's that he is actually what he's saying. The most malicious is that he is actually trying to terrify all of you.
It's the fact that he's trying to scare Americans into voting, and the fact that he's so incompetent, unable to do the job. And again, I know that I sound like a broken record, but the two biggest issues that we have are the fact that he's in charge of nuclear weapons and that they have no plan to deal with the debt, which now has.
I don't know where that came from. I was like, wait, what? What is he talking about?
Mark Lamont said, Hill said 1 hour ago, Trump is officially whipping Biden's ass right now. Damn, if Mark Lamont Hill had to admit it, oh man, they done turned on Joe. Wow, this is savage. Somebody said Biden voters watching the debate, throw in the damn towel.
I think they threw in the towel. I think tomorrow we're going to hear a lot about Biden's cognitive decline. I think they're about to start setting up for a replacement. That is crazy.
Deep State got a meeting tonight. Deep State got a meeting tonight. They calling the interns in. They're gonna have to sub them out, man.
They got to. Simone Sanders ain't gonna get her shine tonight. Oh my gosh. I mean, they're on red alert. They're going to be on red alert, but I think it was by design though. Because I said it earlier today. Either if Joe Biden came in there super fucking sharp and with it, that wasn't Joe Biden. That was Joe Biden. That was somebody in a Joe Biden suit.
The Hotep's trying to get my man.
He coming there and he's showing his fucking
you are live. How you
disability.
feeling, sir?
That was on purpose. So they can get rid of him and put whoever they want to put in. And it looks like
Wow,
I don't
man.
know, Gavin Newsom was there.
Joe was
Why
worse
was
than I
Gavin
thought
Newsom?
he was gonna be.
Oh yeah, man. Bro, he was out of here. His face was stuck on wild mode the whole time. He never, like, it was points where he didn't blink at all during the whole time he was talking. It was just like, wow, what's going on here? This dude was screwed.
Yeah, dude, this is crazy. And I think he lost on all the points too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I do believe so, man.
It was so
Like,
childish, bro. He was like, you're a liar. He was arguing about golf. Did you, dude? Trump when he hit him with the let's not be children, Jeff. Let's not be children, Jeff.
there's only one of us is convicted felon. I see, like, if I was like at that point in time, like, yeah, only one of us got our daughters writing the diaries talking about we touched them, but you know, only one of our kids are crackheads, Joe.
Right. What did you think about what did you think about all the help Tapper and that chick were giving Joe Biden? How they were letting him finish every freaking thing, but they about halfway through, did you notice they turned? They realized, you know what I mean? Letting Joe talk is not part of this plan anymore. Like, we got to change the game. So.
Yeah, we got to change the game. And it got to the point where they were actually giving Trump more. They were giving Trump more time to talk.
Yeah, which is never good for them. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lose-lose for them situation they put themselves in, which I think is brilliant because even with this deck stacked against him, he's killing it. What's the A like right now, man? Tell us. Live with protocol on the phone. He's live in the A where the debate is going down at the watch party. What's it like over there, man?
Man, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty spirited, man. I'm here with a lot of black patriots, man, that are supporting Trump.
That's cool.
I think it's like 99.9% of the people in here support Trump.
Hell yeah. Is Devontae there?
No, he isn't. No, he isn't.
Man.
Hey, he had to, he had his own little watch party for Joe, But I am here with Miss Michaela Montgomery.
Tell Michaela
who you hear talking in the background. Yeah. Well, she's talking on mic right now. I see that.
Hey, man.
But she just walked.
Do you think you got good enough internet to do a drop in or?
Yeah. I'll jump in and drop in. I'll walk outside in just a second.
All right, no worries, man. We'll talk to you in a second.
All right, bro. All right.
Tomorrow's Grid Report is going to be loaded.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. All kinds
It's
of
gonna
fun
be
issues,
so
but
lit.
thank you
I'm
for
gonna
hanging
have
in
so
there.
many clips. I'll be
This
collecting
was
clips
fire.
all night. Greg Gutfeld
Crazy
said, if you
stuff.
pull Joe Biden over, you take away the car keys and cause adult
nuts.
children to have the talk.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right. Yeah, we gotta put you in a home.
Wow, that's nuts, man. That was wild, y'all. That was wild. We waiting on
I thought the
protocol to
drugs would
drop in.
perform better, though. I thought the drugs would be better.
Nah, his body can't. He's been doing that shit so much. His body just immune to
Agreed.
it. Bro.
Agreed, Jack.
Yeah.
Man, this was a crazy debate, y'all. This was nuts. I'm trying to check to see if there was any closing arguments or anything like that we wanted to, see or get into or any parts of it. I want to get your opinions on it, whatever you thought, so because that shit was nuts, man. That was some, I don't know, man. I'm worried that people can watch that and still actively support Joe Biden. I don't think it's a good thing. In fact, it's rather concerning to me, quite honestly. So yeah, man, I don't know what that's all about. So, but yeah, man, it was a good, was it a good debate to you? I don't know if it was, man. I mean, to me, it wasn't, by the terms of what you would consider to be a good debate, it was not that. And, that is because they didn't really get to any real points other than what Trump said that Trump has been saying. Biden just was like, Trump is bad and Trump is a liar. And that's, if you're running on that, bro, I need more. You know what I mean? I just need more than that. So, and he's in the building right now. Bam! Protocol in the building. Pew, 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 pew. How you doing, boss?
Man, I'm doing good, man. What's the word?
Man, it looks like it wrapped up, dude. I was trying to get just kind of some opinions, man, but it looks like everybody in the world, there's some like hardcore Biden bitches that are out there. I just realized my back door is open. You see a little bag and all that little chair. But anyway, looks like everybody is saying Biden lost, even like CNN and stuff. And they're saying Biden had a cold. So keep that in mind. Biden had a cold, I guess. Everybody's pretty much saying Biden lost, except for the fact that maybe he had a cold. But man, that was brutal, dude. If I supported
That was
Biden,
brutal.
I'd be depressed right now, man.
Yeah,
Straight up.
yeah. If you're a Biden supporter, you had a bad night tonight. You had a horrible night tonight. You're a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? You coming out feeling like Teflon Don right now, you know?
My man Jack says Joe tried to leverage some sort of sex scandal, but it was okay because Bill Clinton. That's what I was saying. It's like my boy Merch was saying, let me run your campaign. You understand. The reason we love you is because you bang porn stars, player. We like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what, bro? I'm going to be honest. My wife, forgive me. If I had $1 billion, guess what? But anyway, man.
Do whatever you want. Just don't bring me home nothing you can't send back.
Exactly. No, you know me, dude. I'm a good boy. You know I'm a good boy. But I'm just saying that was what Joe was hitting on. And then he got into she say, I will not forgive you. I know. I'm joking. And then we got into a golf argument. And he was like, let's not act like children, Joe. Joe, let's not be children over here. I was just blown away. And all he did was like, no, you're lying. This man's lying. This man's lying. He's like, Joe, we've got the numbers. Well, you better show them to me. You better show it. It's like, what? He's like, I will. But like, Joe, are you not aware? Are you not aware of the numbers? It blew me away. And how did you like him throwing black people under the bus? Did you see how he was like, he almost slipped. But black kids can go to college just as good as white kids. It wasn't exactly that, but did you hear that? It was something very. What did he say, man? What did you think about that?
I missed it. I missed a lot. We had some there was some technical difficulties going on with this here debate tonight, bro. It was really wild, you know, the technical difficulties that these people were throwing at this debate. So I'm gonna run it back tonight or maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and yeah, no, I think we're gonna I mean, I think it's gonna take up a large portion of Sunday night too. You know what I mean? We might break it down. I was kind of hoping if you would be interested to do that. You know, I'll go through, I'll get the major portions, you know, of the whatever, how many 2 hours or whatever. I'll get a good 70 minutes or something, and we'll be able to, you know, kind of chunk it up and talk about it because it was not. I've never seen a debate like this. Here's the thing: Donald Trump did better than I even anticipated he would do, and Joe Biden looked worse than I thought he was going to look. In that,
absolutely,
it would almost have been better if he had some kind of crazy gaffe, if he'd have fallen or he just looked like that doddering old man who can't hold a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah,
so
that's what it was.
Anyway,
that's what it was, man. But you know, we'll definitely hit on it on Sunday. I'm not sure, guys. Of course, I'm up in Atlanta. I'll be on my way back home on Sunday. I got a water garden event I need to attend on Sunday. So, you know, we'll see how that works out. And yeah, man, it was a good time, man. I hope you guys enjoyed what you seen, learned a few things, and let's go Trump, baby.
He did
all
so
gas,
good.
no break.
I was so all gas, no break. Oh yeah, he did so good, dude. Like he just did so good. You know, he just sat there, he chilled. What I liked is he wouldn't even look at Biden. He's like, I can't even with this. You know what I mean? He's like, he wants to increase the taxes 4 times. He literally, Joe Biden started meandering. He said he brought in like 600 million or some random number for HBCUs because black kids couldn't do what white kids could do because they didn't have the money, and now they'll have the money and be able to do what white kids could do. Literally said that during this debate. You want to talk about a motherfucking disaster, bro, in every sense of the word. You know what I mean? So that was
it looks like it looks like Biden's somewhere talking to a group of people.
Oh. Because what, it might be the last time ever? Wow.
Yeah, they're saying this is happening right now. So, I don't know. But I'm finna get back into mangling and rubbing some elbows. Hope you guys enjoyed the show and enjoyed the debate.
What's up on the Rebel on Rumble team? Yeah.
I will do. Look, see. She's busy right now. She's on CBS.
Yeah. No, get her. All right, man. I'll talk to you. I mean, tell her to get it. That's awesome. Jack says what's up.
Okay.
Amy says what's up. The chat say they love you, dog. All right, homie. PB in it. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Let's see here. That was akin to gladiator fights, and now we are all waiting for the thumbs up for Trump. Yeah. Honestly, guys, I'll leave you with this thought because we are getting long in the night. There was a theory. Look at that. My face went all anime. This is some weird shiz. I don't even know what's going on. Anyway, I don't know what is going on here. I need to turn off some filter or something. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, okay, guys. The theory is they want Joe Biden out. They know Joe Biden is no good. So the idea is what they're going to do is run him on this debate, show the world he clearly is not capable or able or should be doing what he's doing. And then that'll give everyone a reason to have him step down. Do you think that happened tonight? Do you think that if you were a dyed-in-the-wool hardcore Biden supporter, and you may be, and that's okay, but if you watched him tonight, do you walk away from tonight feeling confident, feeling comfortable, feeling like that's the guy you want leading not only your party, but the entire country, representing the rest of the world, especially with the wars and the stuff we have going on? You know what I mean? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I highly recommend you cruise on over to the Rumble Hotep channel. The boys are chopping it up over there. It's been a great night. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to go eat some pizza. Yeah, pizza. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And, of course, thank you, Pro, for calling in from the hotspot itself. Good night.